Okay, I think we're going to get started now. Do a little bit of an introduction while everyone else is joining. So good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're joining from. Welcome to today's UpSlide webinar, where we will be focusing specifically on admin functionalities. Now, my name is Liz. I'm a senior customer success manager based off in UpSlide's London office. Before we begin, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone joining us today from all different parts of the world. It's really great to have such a diverse audience today. Now, today I'm joined by my lovely colleagues who will be walking you through all different topics throughout the webinar. So we have Kim, who is a consultant in our London office. We have Lizzie, who is my fellow customer success manager in New York. And finally, we also have Joanna, who sits on the business development team in London. So we have a really exciting agenda lined up for you. So we will be diving into effective library management tips and tricks, some new developments within the library, including locked slides and logo finder. And finally, we're also going to be exploring some of the upcoming new functionalities, including our AI updates. But before I hand over to the team, a couple of housekeeping points. So first of all, please ask questions throughout the webinar in the Q&A tab. I'll do my best to get back to you all, but if I don't reply to your question during the webinar, rest assured that I'll follow up by email afterwards. Now, if you like something specific we show you today, or you get excited about a new functionality coming up, please do use reactions. So those are the same as in a regular Teams call. And finally, there are a couple of polls that will be popping up throughout the webinar. So please do ensure that you engage with them. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Lizzie, who will take us through library management tips and tricks.
Thank you, Liz. I'll share my screen. And the first tip I'll share with you today is around naming objects in your UpSlide library. So those of you who know, we can update or add objects to our UpSlide library, such as icons, images, text boxes, etc. And those of you who have added objects to the library before know that they come over with the object and their name, but the naming convention of native PowerPoint and isn't always clear. Usually there are things called graphic 1, 2, 3, but if you're bulk uploading, it can get very confusing and not straightforward. So I'm going to share a tip with you of how to make sure that you're organized while adding objects to your library. I'm going to do so by using the selection pane. I have mine in my quick access bar here. If you don't, you can just search for it up here above the UpSlide ribbon. And to identify your objects in the selection pane, I'm going to choose my apple here. The line item will illuminate in the selection pane. And as you see, this is graphic 1, which doesn't really tell us much about the library item that we're trying to add. So what I'm going to do is rename it as apple. And I'm going to do the same for the banana here. Now that I have those both named properly, in a second when we go to our library, we'll be able to add those objects quickly and efficiently by selecting both. We're going to choose where we want our objects to live. I'm going to put them in the object library. I'm going to right click on our fruit salad object collection here and press publish selected items. And again, what this will do is bring over those objects with their proper names. So right off the bat, your users can start searching by the content name and the object name, which is apple and banana. So it skips a step and especially helps you keep organized as you're bulk adding objects to your library. And we've completely eliminated the need to go back into the UpSlide library and rename those objects one by one. We did them kind of in one fell swoop. Tip I want to share with you is around the content layout of your library. So by default, the library is stored alphabetically. And if you want your library to appear in a certain way, or you want some folders to be prioritized for your users over others, you can use numbers to help you accomplish the look and feel you want. So for instance, I want the objects to be on top of the first folder that my users are going to be able to see. I'll just right click on my objects, press rename, and I'm going to put a 1 in front. And when I do that, it will put the objects folder on top of my monthly reports so that my users will have that as their first folder. And the same concept applies to objects within the folder and also any other subfolder. So the same logic applies for the numbers versus alphabetical order. Another awesome tip that helps keep the library organized is tagging content. So if you wanted to easily categorize your content and add additional searchability for your users, in addition to the search bar that we have already, you can use tags to do so. So what I'll do and show you is I'll first select my apple. I'll use the ellipses here and I'll press Manage Tags. I'm going to tag this as fruit today. And if you already have a tag that's part of the library, it will populate here for you. I'm just adding fruit today. You can add tags if you want to. I'll press OK. And I'm going to quickly do the same thing for the banana. So again, pressing the ellipses, going into Manage Tags. Whoops. And now I'm going to add in fruit. Press OK. And now what this will do will allow the users to use the filter button here and search for the tag that we just created. And as you noticed, the library starts to condense, and now it will only show the items in your library that have been tagged as that specific tag and folders that contain those items with those tags. In practice, a lot of our clients use this for disclaimers. So if you have maybe a disclaimer per region or per country, let's say, you can tag that disclaimer slide as disclaimer Canada, disclaimer US, and your users can go in and search for that disclaimer slide. That's so important to that deliverable, and make sure that they can insert it quickly and find it super easily through the filter options here. Remove our tags here so I have the full library again. Another part of the admin training we want to go over today, we know that keeping the UpSlide library is not an easy task, and we are so thankful for our admins that keep the UpSlide library up to date and keep it so it's so successful at our client firm. So we thank you for doing that, but we know that it can be quite a challenge. So as you are adding in your content or making changes to content that you're building, you can make sure that the users know that there have been updates. So to do so, you'll click on the ellipses again, and you'll press Notify Users. What this will look like for your user base is this bell over here in the right-hand corner will illuminate. So your users will know that either content has been updated or added to their UpSlide library. Additionally, if your users are using slide check over here, they will also be notified that maybe there's a new updated piece of content that lives within the library. Slide check will check for any of the content from the library in the deliverable, and slide check and UpSlide will intelligently replace that piece of library content for the user, so they don't even have to open up the library. It will say there's an updated version of this, for example, disclaimer slide, and what it will do is pull in that update for the user, again, not even having to open up the library. So there's two ways that users will get notified that there's new content in the library. The other part of the tool I want to mention to you guys is suggest a change. And as admins, you're able to set up a suggestion path for your users. Your users are in the content daily. They are seeing everything that you are adding, and maybe they have a better set of eyes on what the content should be like. So the way that the suggestion path will work is it will allow the users to make suggestions based on any of the content within the library, make those changes, and send them your way. So it efficiently and effectively collects all of the feedback based on the suggestions that the users are making. So you don't have to be rummaging through your Teams messages or emails. You can just have them all in one spot and directly viewed from UpSlide. So what I'll show you, I'll click into my monthly reports here to show you this example. A user to suggest a change would just click on the ellipses again, and he would or she would press select a change. They change whatever they wanted on the slide. For instance, maybe you have a new client, so they have to update the client number for an overview slide, or maybe formatting needs to be changed. They'd add the context here, press send, and then what your notification would look like is this screenshot here, which would allow you to view the change that your user is suggesting, and then either give you the ability to accept or reject that change. Again, all right from within UpSlide and the library, so you don't have to keep track of this elsewhere, and it's very quick and easy to accept those changes and populate them right into the library. If you do want to set this up, please reach out to your UpSlide representative, your customer success manager or account manager. They'd be more than happy to walk you through that. And one other thing I wanted to share with you today is our ability to add in certain parts of decks into our deliverables. So previously and historically, if a user wanted to add in certain parts of a deck that lives within the library, they'd have to insert the entire deck into the deliverable, delete the slides they didn't have to use, and just pinpoint exactly which ones that they needed to. So now with this new feature, which has been highly anticipated and has been brought forth because of client feedback, is the ability to select the slides that they want from the deliverable, so they don't have to delete the additional ones that they don't need. So this report template I have here is about 40 slides. So for the users, they click on the ellipses, select choose slides to insert, and now I have the ability to go through, preview each and every slide that's in this 41 deck, and have the ability to add in the specific ones that I want. So I'll press insert slides here, and you'll notice that those three, and just those three, have been added, and not the 41. That's the entire deck. So the users don't have to delete the other 38 slides that are not necessary. Again, just pinpointing exactly what they need for this deliverable. Okay, now I'm going to hand it over to Kimia to go over our new linked and locked features.
Thanks, Lizzie, for those tips and tricks. So continuing the theme of the library and our tips within the library, I want to show you UpSlide's ability to link and lock slides. So as admins, we all know the pain of having to update one slide that appears in multiple decks. It's not only time consuming, but it also leaves space for error and also we may forget to update it in one place. So by using linked slides, we can now update a single slide at its source, and this will automatically update all of the linked contents in the library. So firstly, how do we create that single source slide? First, we need to insert the slide or slides into the library. So continuing off the theme of fruits, I have my fruit slides here, and I'm going to insert my blueberry and banana slides, as you can see here. So I've selected these two. And now navigating into my library, I can right click, and we now have this new option here, which is our Advanced Publish button. When I click on that, a new window will open up where it will give me the option to publish as a deck or publish individually. In this case, I want these individually, so I'll just click Publish. And those will get inserted into my library like so. And just to make it really clear, I'm going to rename this. Perfect. So you can see these are now in my library. Okay. So how do we then create that linked deck? So first I'm going to pretend like I'm creating a brand new deck of slides, and as though I don't have these two, I now need to insert those slides that I want to be linked from my library into my presentation. And to do that, I just need to select where it should come through. Simply double click and it will be inserted, and same with the banana slide, like so. Once I have that ready, how I want it to look, all my slides are ready to go. I can select them all. and insert these now into my library. Again, right-clicking on the location where I'd like it to come through. Once more, going into Advanced Publish. So you'll notice a couple of things here. So firstly, this will be published as a deck, which is perfect. That's what I want. Below here, I can select all of the slides that can be linked and the ones that I want to be linked. So in this case, my blueberries and my banana have been identified as potential linked slides. Love them to stay linked, so I'm going to make sure they're ticked and click Publish. Again, just to be very clear, I'm going to rename this. Perfect. So to double check that it's linked, you can see over here that my linked deck now has that link icon in the top right-hand corner. And as I flick through, there is an additional link icon on all of the individual slides that are linked within this presentation. Going back to my source slides, I can also see that the S indicates that it's a source slide. So these are very easily identified by yourselves as admins, and you can easily go through and edit them and change them. Which takes me nicely onto how you can actually update your linked deck. So let's say now the information in your slides needs to change. Maybe that's a change in an About Us slide, or in our case, maybe we've gone through a bit of a rebrand and we want to change our colors. So we no longer need to go through our decks one by one and update them. We can just update that single source slide that I was talking about. So if you have it open, perfect, you can make those edits directly. Or equally, if you don't have it open, just open it from your library by double-clicking and it will insert into your presentation. Once in your presentation, you can make the edits as you wish. So here I'm going to do a bit of a color change, ripen up my fruits a little bit more, make these a bit more purple, make my bananas nice and green, like so. Now all I need to do is replace my single source slides. So let's say we have my blueberries, have that selected, click on these three dots, and I can now replace it with the selected slides. Confirm. So it just takes one moment to do so. That's updated there. We'll do the same very quickly for our bananas. So make sure that slide's selected and we can replace it with that new slide. Confirm. So now what you'll notice is your single source slides have updated, but also that linked deck from before is also updated to reflect those changes. One really useful tip as well, if you're working with a lot of decks that are linked and you can't find that single source slide, but you want to update some information, you can work backwards now to find that single source slide. So if we go into my linked deck, I can click those three buttons. And you can see here we have the option to view our source slides. And when we click on that, you can see we can navigate directly to that source slide, make the edits, and it will update in all my linked decks. And vice versa as well, if you want to work from the opposite way, and you want to identify in what slides that single source slide is, you can click those three dots and view your dependent slides. So it's very easy to navigate and make those changes. Perfect. So that's linked slides. When it comes to locked slides, perhaps you have some sensitive content, maybe some disclaimers that you don't want users to be able to edit once they insert it into their presentations. So we can use locked slides to do just that. So if a user, if we have this slide and we insert it into our library, you can go to Advanced Publish. Again, I encourage you to start using this new button. You might have noticed before, but we do have this option here to lock our slides. And again, it will do just that. So for an end user, they'll be able to see that slide, they'll be able to insert that slide, but what they'll notice is this lock icon in the top right-hand corner. So what this will look like for an end user when they insert it, you'll see that I can't actually edit, select anything on my slide, which means that they can't edit it. From an admin standpoint, you are able to still make those edits yourselves. So all you have to do is right-click on your slide, unlock the slide. You'll then be able to make the edits that you want to make, if that's a color change, if that's content change, as you ordinarily would, and reinsert that back into the library in the same way we have been doing by replacing it with a selected slide. This will remain locked for the end user. Perfect. So that's my linked and locked slides. I'll pass it back to Lizzie now, who will discuss UpSlide's logo finder with you.
Thank you, Kimia. Whoops. Okay. So we're so excited to share with you a new feature that we have been working on and now has been deployed at UpSlide, and it is our logo finder. Our logo finder gives you and your users the ability to have thousands of high quality logos at your fingertips and ensure brand compliance when you are presenting in front of your clients, and also avoid, and most importantly, avoid any disruption to the user's workflow because this tool is integrated right into the UpSlide library. So let me show you how it works. I'm going to select on this slide here, and I'm going to go to my logo finder here. I'm going to search. Again, we have thousands of options here to choose from. I'm going to start with Microsoft. And I can choose any of the icons that illuminate below. And if the use case is like the majority of the clients who are already using this, it's more than just one logo they're searching for at a time. So the other logo I'm going to look for is Google. And I'm going to select this object too. So now you'll notice that there are two inserts because you've selected Microsoft and Google. And when we press insert, both of those will be added to our deck right from the UpSlide library. This next page should look pretty familiar to you. This is part of our arrange tool. So you can select the size, adjust the height and the width. If I wanted to make this Google a little bit larger, I can do so using these ratios. And also the bottom part is our arrange tool. So you'll be able to choose the container in which the logos are appearing. I have this placeholder here, so UpSlide's automatically populating them in that space. And then I have the ability to change the arrangement by selecting the predetermined best practices that UpSlide has determined for me. Same capacity, you can also split the logos, one per slide, just like you could in the native arrange tool as well. If for some reason that the logo that you need is not in our database, you can certainly request it and it will be added to our database for you for future use. Speaking of Microsoft, I'm going to hand it over to Ioana, who will be talking about our improvements when it comes to AI and our new features.
Thank you very much, Lizzie. In terms of next steps, we're going to be touching on our AI positioning and what's coming up next with UpSlide. Now, in terms of 2024 development, as all of you know, UpSlide is a solution targeted solving industry-specific challenges in report creation for financial services professionals. So when we look at the 350 million Microsoft users around the world, UpSlide will continue to focus on building a specialized solution dedicated for the 10 million of you around the world, building and working with pitches, reports, proposals on a daily basis. So when we look at our 2024 goals, we are focusing on 3 different streams. The first stream is automation and innovation. So continuing to add new features and delivering improvements to the existing ones in line with the challenges that you have and continue to develop, but also allowing you to continue building value for your clients while streamlining efficiency in report creation with UpSlide. So this is just basically building on the baseline that we have today with just new additional features as what we'll be presenting next. The second part is AI integration and enablement. So we'll be using AI to, one, improve the way we develop new functionality internally, but also for adding new and enhancing existing features with AI. And the last but not least is the co-pilot enablement and alignment. Just for you to know, we're an early co-pilot partner, so you'll be able to utilize UpSlide with co-pilot, as many of your organizations will be rolling this out internally. So we'll be integrating with that to enable faster brand compliant document generation while also using the existing Microsoft toolset. Now, when it comes to AI new developments, we're taking a very client-centric approach where your feedback plays a crucial role in the speed and relevance of new developments. This means that we're prioritizing your challenges, the ones you mentioned to us, to deliver new and smarter solutions with AI. So now for the past months, we haven't stayed still. We've been looking at different projects internally and different pilots on what we can deploy for our users to have an impact in terms of AI development. And we already some coming up that your users will be able to start utilizing soon. And a perfect example of that is our new UpSlide glossary generator. Now, we've been hearing from many of you that defining abbreviations in decks is sometimes very painful and very time consuming. And precisely for that, we've developed the UpSlide glossary generator. Sir? But let's come back to what is coming up next in terms of AI development for users. So sharing my screen again, in terms of what's happening right now, first of all, we're defining our AI-specific roadmap. So we have the abbreviations glossary that will be out very soon for you. But we've also looked at areas such as ChatGPT access from within PowerPoint, improving content library search results, and more. We're also leveraging our Copilot partnership, so you can utilize the correct branded templates whenever you're generating a new report and ensure that they're brand consistent and compliant, but also accessing content within UpSlide's library with Copilot when generating these reports. But also, most importantly, we want to continue conversations and exchanging notes with you, because all of this development is you driven based on the challenges that we hear from you. Now, we have multiple roadmap ideas that we're exploring, and these are all internal projects. So we can definitely get in touch more on what's happening in the AI space and what are the other projects that we're exploring internally. But in the interest of time, I'm going to hand it over to Kim, who's going to walk you through what are we doing next in terms of new product development.
Thanks, Joanna. So we've shown you a few of our new features within UpSlide, giving you a taster of AI, but I'm really excited to give you more of a taster of what's coming soon. So we're working on making charting tools more powerful, more robust. So for example, applying access breaks into stacked waterfalls and also adding multi-arrow taggers into graphs. You'll notice some changes in PowerPoint soon, so there'll be a new formatting ribbon, as well as the ability to create and add your own custom shapes. What I'm personally most excited about is the ability to start favoriting library content as well. So watch the space, there'll be even more to come soon. If you did find this session useful, we'll be hosting another webinar next week, so specifically for UpSlide users. We've put the link in the chat, or we'll be putting the link in the chat if it's not there yet. So do make sure that you forward this link to your colleagues so they can register and maximize their use of UpSlide.
Thank you so much, Kim, Lizzie, Joanna, for taking us through a range of different topics today. Hopefully all of you attending are as excited about them as I am. Now, I am looking for a link to put it in the chat just to ensure that you all have it handy in case any of your users have not registered for the webinar next week. Now, I know we're running out of time, and I did promise to show the lock slides or linking slides again, but I think in the interest of time, it's better to refer back to the recording. So all of you who have attended today and those who haven't attended but have registered will receive a copy of this of the recording for this webinar. So you'll be able to refer back to it, or if any of your colleagues couldn't make it today, you can also forward the link to them. Now, on that, given that we've run out of time, I'd like to thank every single one of you for attending, for asking questions. Hopefully you found it very insightful, and we look forward to seeing you next time.